Rolling out in Australia is the latest Tesla update 2024.14.3, and this is a fairly major update. There's a lot of interface changes, and we'll go through them in a minute. All right, so here's the latest update 2024.14 with its interface changes and quite a few others. Let's just go to the release notes. Now, the first one that's on this .3 version is Audible. So you can listen to thousands of Audible originals, audiobooks and podcasts, and you can pick up where you left off seamlessly between your device and the car. I don't have Audible, but for those that do, this is a very welcome update. Right, so now we'll go to the major ones. Visual updates. Here we've got the visualization, visual experience, an immersive full screen vehicle controls when you're parked, and we'll cover those in a minute. A large playback control, so these are much bigger. The autopilot driving visualizations. I've always maintained that all I see is one car and mine in front. Now, like what they've got with FSD 12 whatever in the US, we're actually getting all those cars visualizations around us, which is much better. And you can shrink the map into the corner bit up the top there. Spotify. Now, I also don't have Spotify, but you can sync your Spotify queue across your vehicle and devices and adjust the playback speed. Now, I know quite a few people wanting that. Preview of Sentry Mode recordings. So when the Sentry Mode triggers your vehicle alarm, in other words, someone's gone and bumped into your car or sat on it or done something to make the alarm sound, you can immediately preview a brief clip of the recording on your phone. So on your app, on your phone, you press and hold the notification to watch the recording. Now, you've got to have safety dash cam turned on, obviously. It requires a USB with sufficient memory plugged into the vehicle, which is in the glove box. And you've got to have premium connectivity. It's another one of those where you've got to have premium connectivity, which I do. Now, the last update, we got speed camera locations. Now you'll get a chime, which I think is much more useful. They should have brought that in at the beginning. But what I have noticed with these speed cameras, here in Australia, we've got a lot of mobile speed cameras that go and sit in a spot for 2, 3, 4 hours and then move on. We do not get notification of those. What I have noticed is when you're navigating and you've got online routing turned on with premium connectivity, it only shows fixed speed cameras. So those are like red light cameras that have got a speed camera attached, fixed speed cameras on the side of freeways and highways. They appear, but nothing else. Oh well. Now this is when driving through an average speed zone, and we're starting to get those here in Western Australia. You can see your average speed and distance to the end of it, which is useful if you're one of those, unlike me, that speeds all the time. You can adjust your speed as necessary. Once again, online routing turned on, and you've got to have premium connectivity. Trip progress bar. So this appears at the bottom, and as you're doing your turn-by-turn navigation, you'll now see a progress bar that changes as you drive closer to your destination or next stop. This also will reflect the traffic conditions, where normally you've got your orange and red, blue lines on your navigation screen. This will come up with the same things. Once again, Online routing must be turned on and requires premium connectivity. Adaptive high beams. So they can now adapt to reduce glare for other drivers and cyclists by detecting other road users and selectively dimming individual pixels of the headlight. To turn them on, go to Lights, Adaptive High Beams. Better route available. Navigation now shows you at the top of your turn list if a faster route becomes available. It will reroute you unless you decline before the option expires. So I've got mine set to save me 2 minutes, find another route. Now it will give you the option of sticking to your old one by declining the rerouting suggestions, or just wait and it will reroute you. Once again, you've got to have online routing turned on. Wiper controls. So the wiper button, when you've got your wipers set to 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, you can press the wiper button. So I've got stalks on my car. Here we go, just here. I can press that and then use the scroll wheel, the left scroll wheel, to increase or decrease the speed. Personally, doesn't really worry me. I just tend to use the automatic version, and every now and again I might press the button at the end if I want to give a bit of a screen wash or just to get the wipers to go once. I tend not to worry about keep changing it. Now, security improvements, that's okay, and other updates, and there's quite a few here. When you're parked, you can expand the browser to full screen. You can swipe to delete Sentry Mode recordings in the Dashcam app on your vehicle's touchscreen. Security, Sentry Mode, alarm previews in the Tesla app 4.32.0 or higher. When you've got valet mode on and your vehicle is unlocked or shifted out of park, you'll receive a notification on your phone. The Vampire Survivors game in arcade now has the Space 54 and the Deplorable updates. I don't play games, so it's nothing to do with me. Arcade includes the latest game update for Polytopia Path of the Ocean. So that's quite a few updates there. So looking at the screen view now, it looks fairly similar. What will happen is your regen and acceleration will appear as a bar up and down the side here. The speed is much larger, so the font size is increased, and in general there's quite a few changes. One, if you take that across, you've now got quite an improved view of the car, and you can even go around like that, and you can still open the front and the trunk and lock and unlock the car. Once we get going, then we'll see that there are quite a few changes around. So if I just put myself into gear and slide that across. Hello, I've got a big truck right beside me. So I don't know why it's picking up that as a truck. As you can see, it's now got a lot more cars. Yeah, I've got one of those in my garage at times as well. Just clean the windscreen a bit, maybe that will help. And as you notice there, if I do that again, you can scroll up and down to change the setting. Now the good thing about this is that you've now got basically a 360 view. I'm actually in a car bay, in a car park, and it hasn't got the lines here. But as you can see, there's quite a few cars around. And there's a truck here. I don't know where it's picking up that truck from, but there isn't one here. So you get back to your original view by sliding that across. All right. So now what we'll do is we'll navigate somewhere and have a look at the new visualizations, the new speed, and so on. All right, so this is the original screen, but you've got a lot more detail here, and you've still got your navigation there. If you go into this mode, you've got your navigation button here. So if I just go and if I just go in here and pick somewhere, so I've gone and picked somewhere up the road, a fair old distance. I was there over the weekend giving a talk on Teslas and had my Tesla on demo. So we can now start. So the visualizations are much better now. As you can see, you've got all these cars, you've got some people over on the right standing by their car, and it's picking them up, whereas before it really didn't have very much, and it's even picking up people in the distance there. This is a much improved UI. So as you can see, it's picking up the brake lights, and it realizes that there's even a high level brake light there. It's got the red traffic light, and it's much improved visualizations. So if we take that across, we've now got that. You've got the map just in the top left. It's not as detailed, but it does give you an idea. This is the bar that does your progress, and I believe if you've got a rear screen, it will also show up there. So if you've got kids in the back and they go, "Are we there yet?" you'll be able to point that out for them, and they can see how progress for the journey is going. And it's also giving you the next turn up on the top right. And as you can see here, the speedo is much improved. It's slightly larger, and I think if you've got one of these head-up displays or extra screen in here, you probably won't need it now. This is an improvement on what it was. And you've got the speed limit and your setting for your cruise control. Right, so if we set it, I've got enhanced autopilot, so I can ask it to change lanes. I'm not going to go all the way up there. We're just going to do a little bit of it. And once again, you've got an enlarged media player here, and don't forget you can scroll across. You can see your current drive, state of charge, odometer reading, and then you go to your tyre pressure. Now I believe I've got a slow leak in my right rear tyre, so I think I might have to go and get that checked very soon. So we'll go up a couple of stops. What I want to check here is change lanes. Now it's picking it up. The one problem that I've had is going from this lane to that lane is it doesn't always pick it up, and I was hoping that this improved visualization will do better. But if you notice, when I was changing from that lane to that lane, it didn't pick it up at one point and it wouldn't move. So maybe that hasn't improved it very much yet. But we'll just go on up here a bit more and see whether it will work properly. And here you can see it's got the truck and a car going off up there. It's got the truck and a car behind it, and the car in front. And then it's picked up the other truck in front. So the visualizations have improved quite reasonably. Right, so I'm going to end trip because I don't want to go up that way, and we'll see if we can see if it will change lanes for me. So you're still getting all the visualizations when you've moved this screen across, yes, I quite like this improvement. Bigger speed, and more visualizations of what's going on around you. It always worried me that it wouldn't pick up a car that was beside you in the other lane. It must have known it was there, but the visualization just wasn't there. Now, one thing I have noticed, and we'll try and pick it up in a minute, is sometimes it gets confused with trucks certainly, and their lights being on the back. It's sometimes confusing them with brake lights, and it doesn't appear to be picking up indicators. It certainly hasn't done that on the truck just now. So it is picking up the indicator on that car. Ooh, how about that? And it's picking up the brakes and indicator on the truck. So it does pick up the indicators, just didn't sometimes. So there we have it. Over-the-air update for Tesla 2024.14. Whatever minor dot update you've got. General impressions. I quite like it. I think the new user interface probably has just caught us up here in Australia with what they've got in America with their full self-driving. So overall, I quite like it. I think that everybody that gets it will quite like it as well. Let me know what you think when you get it. Now, make a comment down below. And while you're down there, there's a like and a subscribe button. Yeah, pretty please. That would really, really help the channel if you did that. And I'll see you all very soon.